This is an incredibly impactful talk that if you take it on board, I near guarantee you are going to feel motivated to just go out there and change your world. You will be able to change the world that you experience. Now, we want to look at some ancient wisdoms. We want to look at some ancient wisdoms and just understand them from the perspective of the laws of mind and the principles of mind. Because when you understand how the mind works and you look at these ancient wisdoms, then you begin to understand how it is that you are creating the world you experience and how it is that you're making and creating the life that you are experiencing and living in the moment. Now, what we want to look at is three things. And the first one is a law for all human relations. It's a guide and it's a golden rule for all human relations. And it's really simple. It's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And we need to look at that and understand that from the context of the subconscious mind, which is all powerful and runs all the programs that literally produce everything you experience via that autopilot that you run on all day long. Your subconscious mind is a recording device. It literally records anything and everything that you impress upon it. Anything that you imprint upon the subconscious mind, it will faithfully reproduce, and that will become your experience of life. The second thing that we want to look at is judgment and the ancient wisdom that with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. Or as you judge, so will you be judged. Pretty simple. But that speaks very much to the principle of mind that is projection. Projection is a fundamental principle of mind. And you're never going to stop the mind from projecting. You are always going to project. You're always going to imagine what's going to happen in the future. You're always going to imagine what is happening around the corner. You're always going to believe you know what is going to happen in a particular situation. You're not going to stop the mind from projecting. But what you project is entirely up to you. If you're master of your own mind, you're master of your thought domain, you can control what you project, and that will become the world that you respond to. You don't respond necessarily to real reality. You respond to what you perceive about reality, and that can be something completely different. You're in control of your projection. It's an important thing to remember. The final thing we want to talk about is that thoughts are creative, and I love the saying of looking at your thoughts like seeds and your mind being a garden. And it's a beautiful saying that your mind is a garden and you plant the seeds. You can plant flowers or you can plant weeds. It's beautiful. But really what that's saying is that your mind is a garden, and whatever you plant in that garden of your mind will come forth like seeds after their kind. And that is because your thoughts are creative. So if we look at the overall thought domain, we can look at the human relationships, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It speaks to the thought domain. It's not the acts that you do. It's not the acts of kindness. It's not the gestures that you give or do to others. It's how you're thinking, because the brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined stimulus or a real stimulus. So if you do something loving and something nice or a favor for someone, but underneath you're feeling feelings of resentment, or you're feeling like you're not happy because you didn't get the gratitude or the thank you felt that you were due, that's the thought domain. That is what you're responding to. Your mind is then going to project that out and see that is how the world works. That's how reality works, and you'll respond to that. If you understand judgment, then you understand if you hold feelings of judgment in the mind, to judge is to reject. That makes the world a very unsafe place, because then you quote unquote know, that judgment is real. Judgment is absolutely not real. Judgment is an illusion. You can absolutely ignore and switch off from judgment in an instant, as soon as you know that it's not real, because you have to use the illusion of time to make judgment. You have to invent information to be able to make judgment. As long as you're living in perception, as long as you are getting all of your information from the level of consciousness where perception is necessary, then, which is most people on the planet, then you are never getting all of the information in any situation, because you can only perceive that which is inside your perceptual range. You can only perceive that which falls inside your cone of perception. And that's very limited. That means you're only ever seeing fragments. You're never getting all the information. And if you don't have all the information, it would follow that it would be impossible to judge truly. It would be impossible to judge correctly. So the moment you perceive judgment, you can just literally ignore that and let that go. You can ask for truth, but you can ignore the judgment, because to judge is to reject, and you don't need that. If you judge the self or others, well, your mind will project that is what is happening in the world around you. And remember, when you project that out, you will respond to the projection. So you'll respond not to what others are actually thinking, you'll respond to what you think others are thinking about the self. That's what you'll respond to. You're projecting that. You'll make that your reality, and it's an unhappy place to be. You can project beautiful, loving thoughts of just acceptance and forgiveness, and you can put kindness and compassion into your mind, and you can hold that as the judgment that you give out to others and to the self, and you will respond to that. The world will become a loving, kind, compassionate, caring place, and it's a much more beautiful place to be. And then understanding that your thoughts are creative. Your thoughts literally create your experience of life, and they create your reality, create the world around you. That's literally what your thoughts do. So that thought domain that you maintain, you're the one who's in charge of your thoughts. You can literally place and hold your attention on the thoughts that you choose. And it would simply follow that if all of your thought that you have maintained in your life has made the life that you're currently experiencing, well, it would follow that the thoughts that you have right now are making the life that you are going to experience. You can change all of that thought right now. Change your thought domain, maintain the thoughts that you would choose to have, and you can have the life, the reality, the world that you would ideally choose to have.